Sunday baseball in Pittsburgh. Yesterday, the Dodgers winning a sloppy game. They clinched a postseason berth. Today, with a win or a Rockies loss, and they can clinch the NL West title for the second consecutive year. With my partner, Steve Lyons, I'm Eric Collins. Joe Torre, now in his second season with the Dodgers. He was brought in, Steve, to try and help young players turn into solid big leaguers. He's done that.
Well, when you look at his managing career, surefire Hall of Famer, and what he's done is nothing short of amazing. Now, 14 straight playoff appearances. That ties him with Bobby Cox for best all time. And when he was in New York, it was expected. They had the huge payroll. They won the 4 championships. But he was brought to this team to teach young players how to get along and play better. And he's gone back-to-back now, playoff appearances again.
One of those young players that he's worked with is the youngster getting the start today. 21-year-old Clayton Kershaw has a very important appearance on the mound for the Dodgers, trying to earn a postseason spot. We'll see how Clayton Kershaw does. The Dodgers and the Pirates when we come back. $6 burger with grilled pineapple, back at Carl's Jr. and by Verizon Wireless, America's largest mobile-to-mobile calling family. We're moments away from the third game of this 4-game series at PNC Park. The Dodgers taking on the Pirates on a Sunday afternoon in the Steel City. Let's take a look at our Jaguar performance. It was yesterday. Randy Wolf.
Randy Wolf did it all yesterday with the sweet defense there and the big breaking ball for strikeouts. Got another no decision, his 14th so far this season, but he pitched brilliantly and he did what he was supposed to do out there.
Check out the new R Performance vehicles at your local Jaguar dealer or on JaguarUSA.com. Now that the Dodgers have clinched a postseason berth, where do you see Randy Wolf fitting in to to the playoff rotation.
Well, he's got to be definitely in the rotation. I don't think anyone thought he would be when this season started. I thought they figured, hey, he's a number 5 starter. He's a serviceable guy. He'll come out and throw every 5th day and go 12-12. But that has not been the case. I mean, you could make an argument for Randy Wolf that he should be the opening day starter in the playoffs, and I don't think anybody would raise an eyebrow if Joe Torre decided to do that.
Surprisingly, Randy Wolf will be making his first appearance in postseason play. Never done it before, so maybe some nerves, some butterflies for the left-hander. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll have our first pitch. The Dodgers' only trip to this fantastic ballpark here in 2008. They will be in 2009. The Dodgers will begin the 2010 season here at this ballpark next April. Let's take a look at the Dodger lineup. Rafael Furcal, he has been red hot lately. He leads things off, batting average up to 268, riding a 10-game hitting streak. Juan Pierre spelling Manny Ramirez in left field. Andre Ethier, Matt Kemp, James Loney hits 5th today. Ronnie Belliard, look at the numbers he has put up in 22 games. Another home run for Ronnie yesterday. Russell Martin behind the plate. Orlando Hudson hits 8th. And Clayton Kershaw, a very important start. He hits 9th. He has not started a game for the Dodgers since back on September 4th. The Dodgers will be facing right-hander from Norman, Oklahoma, Daniel McCutchen.
Well, he was a birthday boy yesterday, 27 years old now. He's not a spring chicken, making just his 5th start of the season this year. He was the AAA All-Star, actually the AAA MVP of his team this season.
He's got a fastball, a curve, a slider, and a change. Basic, all 4 pitches, trying to get ground balls. And he's one of the fastest guys on this team, so they say what he likes to do when he hits, even though he doesn't hit well, he'll drop a bunt down on you and try to beat it out.
Now the defense behind McCutcheon is generally airtight. Pirates, one of the things they do well, one of the few things, is catch the baseball. Fewest errors in the entire big leagues. Millage, McCutcheon, and Jones in the outfield from left to right. Former Dodger Andy LaRoche is at third. Cruz, Brian Bixler, and Pierce along the infield with a battery of Daniel McCutcheon throwing to Robinson Diaz. Dodgers lost the opener of this 4-gamer 3-1 on Friday evening. Came back and won yesterday. Randy Wolf pitched well as the starter but didn't get the decision. George Sherrill came out of the pen and got the win, his first as a Dodger. With that win yesterday, we told you the Dodgers have clinched a postseason berth. With a win today or a Rockies loss, and the Dodgers will have clinched the NL West title. And the Dodgers will celebrate here at PNC Park if they win today. Actually, we're told even if the Dodgers lose, they will wait and see how the Rockies finish up. And if the Rockies lose and the Dodgers win the NL West, they will celebrate. So it'll probably be a little bit delayed from the end of the game, but they will celebrate here, and we will have every moment of the celebration as well, so you're not going to want to leave. Rafael Furcal leads things off and takes downstairs ball 1. 88 miles per hour on the fastball.
Rafi in the middle of a 10-game hitting streak and starting to score a lot more runs, too. If you're a leadoff hitter, if you're a guy like Rafael Furcal who spent his whole life doing that, I think the sense of pride is how many runs you score. That's the name of the game. If you're a guy that's hitting at the top of that order, he's got 91 runs scored right now. He'd like to get to 100, and he'd like to lead this team. Champ has 96 runs scored.
We did have a 5-minute delay before this game got underway. There was heavy rain throughout the downtown Pittsburgh area this morning. The tarp was on the field. And instead of having a 1:35 local start, we started at 1:40 local time. And on 4 pitches, McCutcheon strikes out for call.
I'll take it. He just gets a little sloppy on that. He's kind of long-armed that swing. Not too much wrist in there, and wasn't able to get the bat head through the zone in time to make any contact.
So Juan Pierre in the lineup in left field, placing Manny Ramirez. 2 of Joe Torre's regulars getting the day off, Manny and the third baseman Casey Blake. Casey's had a little bit of a leg issue over the last week, and Joe Torre telling us that Casey is fine to play, but because of the weather, the damp conditions, just figured it's probably best to keep him on the bench. But he could be used later in the ball game as a pinch hitter. Pierce, the first baseman, gobbles it up, steps on the bag, 2 down. Two outs, bases clear. Another left-handed batter, Andre Ethier, stepping in. Ethier, one of those guys starting to put up numbers that compare with some of the best all-time in Dodger history. He's got 75 runs batted in now. Those 75 extra base hits. Did I say runs batted in? He's got 75 extra base hits. And now that's the 4th highest single season total in Los Angeles Dodger history. He's got a good chance of catching Raul Mondesi, who's got 77 extra base hits. A really good week, and he can catch Beltran.
Well, he's already taken McCutcheon deep when the Pirates were in town. McCutcheon was kind of cruising along. He gave up a run in the first, a run in the third, and then Andre got him for a 2-run shot.
Hard hit ball into left field. Millage got a great read on it and makes the play. 3 up and 3 down. A strikeout, a ground ball out, and a fly out. And the Dodgers are done in the top of the first. Clayton Kershaw on the mound when we come back. Let's take a look at the AM/PM Pirates batting order. It's bookended by McCutcheons. Andrew McCutcheon leads things off. Daniel McCutcheon is the number 9 hitter. In between, former Dodger Andy LaRoche. Garrett Jones, rookie with 20 home runs. Last week's Milledge hits 4th. Robinson Diaz, Steve Pierce, Luis Cruz, and Brian Bixler gets the start at second base. 4th start for Clayton Kershaw. He has not started since September 4th.
And the amazing thing is that he hasn't won a game since right after the All-Star break. July 18th was the last time he won. That's 9 starts ago, but you know what? It's not really his fault. In those 9 starts, he's given up 3 runs or less in all of them except 1, and he only gave up 4 in that game. He has also had 12 no decisions, so see if he can get it going today.
Told you his last start was September 4th, but he has appeared between now and then. He came out of the bullpen at Nationals Park on Tuesday against the Nationals. Threw 2 scoreless innings, allowed 1 base runner. It was a walk, and he struck out 4. Remember, he's coming back from that right shoulder injury. And the Dodgers obviously concerned with the health of the 21-year-old, concerned whether or not he could field his position, concerned whether or not he could swing a bat, and just making sure that all of his pitches and everything is in order when he's on that mound. To me, this is the most interesting decision that Ned Colletti, Joe Torre, and the brass will have to decide come playoff time is who will be the pitchers in the rotation.
It's funny, too, when you talk to Ned Colletti, who's a great baseball man, but generally stays out of those discussions. I mean, and I think that's one of the reasons why it works so well is that
on the ground to third. Belliard throws out McCutcheon. Quickly, let's get the defense lineup for you. It's Pierre, Kemp, and Ethier left to right in the outfield. You just saw Ronnie Belliard make the nice play at third. Rafael Furcal, Hudson with just 8 errors on the season at second. James Loney at first. And Russell Martin is behind the dish. That's your Southern California Ford dealers Dodgers defense. Third baseman LaRoche now bats. 1 out. Bases clear.
And when you look at the relationship between Colletti and Joe Torre, Ned seems to get the players here, and then Torre manages them. So I bet Ned will have a little input. I'm certainly they'll have some discussions, but when it gets down to who's going to be in that rotation, that's going to be Joe Torre and his coaches, and that's it. They will make those decisions.
It's a good strike, 93 miles per hour, inner half, 2-1. Well, if Clayton Kershaw proves that he is healthy enough to give it a go, he's got some numbers to back up his desire to be in that playoff rotation. This ball is lifted to right. Ethier has an easy play. 2 down. Since June 16th, no one in Major League Baseball has a better ERA than Clayton Kershaw. No one even really comes close. His ERA since the middle of June is 1.76. That's a quarter of a run better than the closest man to him, being Adam Wainwright of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1.76. Didn't have a lot of wins during that time period, just 5. But the ERA, phenomenal.
I think
rip and a miss by Garrett Jones.
A lot of people, I think, when you say at the end of the day, you really need the tallies on the win column, but you also need a guy that can go out there and pitch well for you. And they've pitched well. It doesn't necessarily mean that things don't happen after you're out of the game or your offense struggles or that number we threw out right there at the open. I mean, in his last 9 starts, he's given up 3 or fewer runs, except one time, and he gave up 4. I mean, that's getting the job done.
Quick work made of Garrett Jones, a 3-pitch strikeout, and so far so good for Clayton Kershaw. A bounce out, a fly out, and a strikeout. Second inning is next. Daniel McCutcheon. McCutcheon 0-2 on the year with a 5.25 ERA. 27 years of age and a day. Celebrated his birthday yesterday. Matt Kemp celebrated a birthday this week. Washington, D.C. turned 25. Actually had his 13-game hitting streak come to an end on his birthday. That was on Wednesday night. 2-0 pitch. We got two Okies going at it. Daniel McCutcheon from Norman. Matt from Oklahoma City. He's from a suburb just outside of Oklahoma City called Midwest City.
Matty's had a little bit of a bump in the road on this trip, hitting just over 200, 5 for 24. Does have a home run, 5 RBIs during that period. Career highs this year in both home runs and RBIs. Great year. Breakout season for the kid, just 25 years old.
Hard hit ball at the third baseman LaRoche. That's now 4 consecutive retired to begin the game for McCutcheon. Now McCutcheon, originally property of the New York Yankees, was drafted in the 13th round back in 2006 by the Yankees. Was traded last summer from New York to the Pirates in the deal that sent Xavier Nady from Pittsburgh to New York. Also Damaso Marte was involved in that deal. One of many deals that the Pirates have made over the last couple of seasons to unload veteran talent. First pitch swinging, Loney bounces out to the shortstop, Luis Cruz. If you were watching the Pirates earlier this season, you would have seen Nate McLouth in center field. You would have seen Nigel Morgan in the outfield. Adam LaRoche was the first baseman. Jack Wilson was the shortstop. His double play partner was Freddie Sanchez. All those guys are gone.
You got LaRoche and Ryan Domit, the only two guys on this ball club that were in the opening day lineup from this season.
Change of speeds. Belliard out in front of it, 0-2. The Pirates are staring at quite possibly another 100 lost season, 57-96. Right now going through a very difficult time. They've lost 7 of their last 8 and 10 of their last 12. But if you're John Russell, the manager, you just at some point have to say, you know what, I can only do so much with the majority of my team. And it's safe to say the majority of my team no longer in uniform. Everyone is dispersed around Major League Baseball.
Well, you certainly have to come with a lot of energy and a lot of optimism. We talked a little bit about that when we were in Washington. We've seen very similar teams that are rebuilding again. 17 straight losing seasons here for the Pirates now, which is tough to go through. But if you don't have an optimistic, upbeat type of guy, you better look for somebody else, because you're going to deal with some losing. And it's the exact same situation we talked about with Jim Riggleman and the Washington Nationals. It's more about, do you play fundamentally sound baseball and do you hustle? Because if you're not going to do that, and we're going to get our brains beat in every night, then there's going to be something wrong. I think you can look yourself in the mirror if you say, look, talent-wise, we are outclassed. But we'll play the game right, we'll play the game hard, and we'll do the little things that you're supposed to do in order to win games. And then if you beat us, you know, we'll tip our hat to you.
Fly ball to right field. Garrett Jones makes the play. Dodgers go 1-2-3 for the second consecutive inning. Home half of the second, and Pittsburgh is next. Clayton Kershaw, working his second inning for the Dodgers. Kershaw, remember, getting his first start since September 4th, coming back from that injured right shoulder. He went 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first inning, hitting McCutchen, LaRoche, and Garrett Jones. Garrett Jones a strikeout on 3 pitches. Last inning, Millage takes ball 1.
I can't remember a team when you go down the stretch, especially a first place team, a team that's been in first place all season long, the Dodgers, and then you look at the decisions that Joe Torre is going to have to make when the postseason rolls around here in about a week to 10 days. Who's going to be in his starting rotation, because you have 6 guys vying for spots, all legitimate, maybe not dominating starters, but all guys that have had success at different times in the season. Who's going to play second base for you? Orlando Hudson had an all-star season, has slowed down at the end, and then the acquisition of Ronnie Belliard, who's played brilliantly, not only at third but second base. Some tough decisions for a guy who you would think this team's sailing along, everything's set, but it isn't.
Breaking ball misses downstairs. 2 balls and a strike to Millage.
We talked about it the other day, the fact that Joe Torre is amazing at knowing when guys are going to play well and how to play them. Shane Spencer was the big one that you and I both remembered from his days with the Yankees. And Shane Spencer didn't play very much at all during the regular season. The playoffs roll around and he was in the outfield and had a great playoff series, and everyone's looking at Joe. How do you play this guy? He's been able to get the most out of everybody that's ever played for him.
Belliard throws out Millage. 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Time for the batting stance guy, brought to you by Blue Shield of California. Guess who the batting stance guy is impersonating here? Wow. We'll let you know after the game. Actually, we'll let you do it in the game. Well, later on in the ball game, we'll let you know who he's impersonating. I loved that guy when I was growing up. I thought he just was fantastic. The guy he's impersonating, right? Not the impersonator. The actual guy. Who
you don't like batting stance guy?
I do. I think he's talented. Robinson Diaz is the batter. Chops it foul, 0-2.
I think the key in life is to find out what you're talented at and go for it. So I guess he's found his calling.
It's a niche. That impersonation was spot on. Some of them are a little bit dicey, but I got that one instantly. 0-2 pitch to Diaz. On the ground. Routine play for the shortstop for a call. 2 down.
He's mowing him down.
So Kershaw has faced 5. He's retired 5. A couple of ground balls to the third baseman. A ground out to the shortstop. A fly ball to right. And a strikeout of Garrett Jones. And as per usual, Clayton, he's got that filthy hat on.
He likes to wear a hat where it makes it look like he's been working hard out there.
That's a Texas thing. A lot of guys from Texas like to have the sweat stains on their hat. It's like a badge of honor.
Someone forgot to tell Clayton that he's in the big leagues now and he can get a new hat anytime he wants.
He's thrifty.
Well, the only thing, they're trying to get Clayton to be a little more thrifty with his pitch counts too, and he's doing a lot better job. And that's really been the difference in the maturation process of Clayton Kershaw this year, is cutting down the pitches so that he can get deeper into games. And one pitch right there that you see right there is another big obstacle that he's jumped over this year. He'll now throw that breaking ball and bury it in the dirt and try to get guys to swing and miss on a pitch that's not a strike. He used to throw his breaking ball for strikes all the time. Occasionally would get hit.
Pierce hits it hard past Belliard. First base hit of the ball game. Possibly extra bases. Pierce is going to try and take second on the arm of Juan Pierre and makes it standing. 2-out double for the first baseman for the Pirates.
Well, Clayton tried to go down and in on a fastball right there. Not a bad location. Pierce did a good job of getting that bat head out and smoking it down the left field line. Ronnie Belliard tried his best to keep it in the field of play right there, knock it down, but he couldn't do it.
So Luis Cruz, the shortstop, steps in. .92 miles per hour at the knees, 0-1.
Boy, that's a big hit for Pierce, too. 4 for 42 coming into today's ball game. Looked at the back end of this Pirate order, and it's not like facing the 27 Yankees. Pierce was 4 for 42. Cruz is hitting below 200.
If you're a big leaguer, you know you're going poorly at times. But do you ever know that you're actually 4 for 42? Would he ever look to see some game notes or check the quote paper and actually read that stat?
Yeah, because these days people don't let you forget it. And, you know, almost there are very few hitters that don't know exactly what they're hitting. And, you know, I mean, you know you're going bad, and then you just want to find out how bad. And that just, you know, you kind of keep spiraling down. No brain, no headache. That's my favorite saying in this game. If you just didn't know, you'd be okay. If you could wake up every morning thinking that you had 3 hits yesterday, you'd play a lot better. But that weighs on you. You go to the plate saying, come on, today's got to be the day where I break out.
2-2 pitch fouled back. Who's the best guy you've ever seen in terms of just blocking things out and just focusing on at-bat to at-bat?
Well, that's a great question, too, because I saw him go through a dreadful slump. And that was Robin Ventura. Just was the same guy every day. I watched Robin in his rookie year go 0 for 41. You would have had to hide the razor blades around me if I was going through an 0 for 41. He was just came back, set his helmet down, never said a word, just even keeled. Turned out to be an excellent player.
Second strikeout of the ball game for Clayton Kershaw. Comes with 2 outs and a man on a second. We're scoreless as we head to inning number 3. The Allegheny River just beyond the right field wall. And you can see the former 6th Street Bridge. It's since been renamed the Roberto Clemente Bridge. And then a great shot of downtown Pittsburgh. All these bridges have names. That's the Roberto Clemente Bridge. A little bit further down is the Andy Warhol Bridge.
You got to know what bridge to take to get where you're going.
Virtually none of those bridges were of any use when the Dodgers first came to town late Thursday night. The G20 Summit was in full swing, and it was a big-time security lockdown in downtown Pittsburgh. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. Even the 7-Eleven right next to the hotel was closed.
That never happens.
That's their convention center. That's where everything went down on Thursday and Friday, the G20 Summit.
Well, the show of force was amazing here, and you know the thing that amazes me more than anything else is obviously the airspace control was even more heavily guarded, and we didn't see any of that. Occasional helicopter would fly over, but you knew that there wasn't anything getting near this place. It was the safest place in the world to be. Talking about all these bridges here in town being named. They're all exactly the same, and they're all painted yellow. They have to be named.
Swing and a miss. Martin strikes out against McCutcheon. McCutcheon's now retired the first of 7 he's faced. This Friday, join the Dodgers as they celebrate Tommy Lasorda's 60th season in Dodger blue. To commemorate his historic achievement, the first 50,000 fans in attendance will receive a replica Lasorda Hall of Fame plaque presented by Farmer John. For tickets, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com. It's the final home series of the regular season. The Rockies in town. Orlando Hudson, chance to make an impression, takes strike one. You have the big three professional sports teams here in Pittsburgh: the Pirates, the Steelers, and the hockey team, the Penguins, all have the same colors. First base hit of the ball game, Hudson on at first. First base hit of the ball game for the Dodgers. One out. Hudson on at first.
Well, Clayton Kershaw is going to be asked to go up there and drop one down.
Squares, gets it down. Roach, the only play is at first. He makes it. Second baseman Bixler covering. It's a 5-4 on the put-out.
Kershaw's really battling it out now with Billingsley and Kuroda as far as having the most sacrifice bunts on the team. Kershaw led the team last year and wasn't even here the entire season. It's a sense of pride with a lot of these pitchers to be able to get that ball down when you're supposed to.
So 2 outs, runner on at second, an RBI opportunity for the shortstop Rafael Furcal, who is today's U.S. Marines leader of the game. Last 18 ball games, batting average of .368, a couple of homers, including a game winner earlier this week in Washington, D.C., and 20 runs scored. When you're scoring more runs than games played, and you're the leadoff guy, you're earning your paycheck.
Exactly right. One of the things we talked about earlier today with him trying to get to the 100-run score. Rafi has not had his best season, but has certainly picked it up a notch over the last month or so.
Foul wide of first.
I think when you look at the way Joe Torre's lineup sets up today, and he's been doing this a lot lately, with Hudson hitting 8th, Kershaw being able to get him over with Rafael Furcal, and lately he's been driving the ball a lot better, but you think that he's going to hit a single. You have Hudson's speed and the ability to score from second. Good outfield throwing arms here in Pittsburgh. You need somebody that can run well because Rafi's not going to drive the ball that far.
Ball and 2 strikes. McCutcheon, first time through the lineup, has allowed just 1 base runner. Orlando Hudson, a single, now on at second after the sacrifice by Clayton Kershaw. There are 2 outs here in the top of the third. Hard hit ball into left field. Another base hit. Hudson charging around third. Millage, the throw, not in time. Dodgers score. They lead 1-0, and Furcal checks in at second on the throw.
That's exactly what we're talking about right there with the speed of Hudson on at second base with a guy who doesn't hit the ball that far. Nice hit right into the 6 hole there. Millage is going to come up throwing. He's got a strong arm, but this is a mistake. with 2 outs, you know Hudson can get a better jump. He doesn't have to wait for anybody to catch the ball. You've got to hit the cutoff man because now you let Furcal get into scoring position. To me, it's a major mistake. It gets overlooked all the time. And now you get another base hit. It's going to score another run. If you held him to first, it would not.
So even though the Pirates have the fewest errors in the big leagues, that would probably be scored a mental error on last innings Millage. And it allows Furcal to pick up an extra base.
Now, Millage has a good arm, and he should show it off. But you hit a cutoff man with it. You can actually throw the ball quicker to home plate the lower you throw it. If that ball was cut off, the run would score like it did anyway, but at least Rafael Furcal would still be standing on first. In the exact same situation now that they had before with Juan Pierre, who does not drive the ball. The outfielders will play more shallow. And the fact that Rafael Furcal has great speed will enable him to be able to score again on a base hit from second base.
In a left center field, this one could be trouble. McCutchen runs it down. Andrew McCutchen, great speed, takes an extra base hit away from Juan Pierre. Dodgers have to settle for a run on a couple of base hits. They lead 1-0 over the Buccos. Single, moved to second on a sacrifice by Clayton Kershaw and scored on a single to left by Rafael Furcal, who now has an 11-game hitting streak. So some wiggle room for Clayton Kershaw as he begins the bottom of the third inning against the 8th hitter, second baseman Brian Bixler.
Bixler's been up and down with this Pittsburgh team a couple times this season. Spent the bulk of the season in AAA. Making just his second career start at second base.
Bixler, drafted in the second round in 2004 by the Pirates out of Eastern Michigan University. He was the Mid-American Player of the Year, Mid-American Conference. Jammed him. Going to get a base hit out of it. Second base hit of the ball game for the Pirates. Leadoff man aboard.
Remember, we told you about McCutchen and his ability to bunt. Obviously, he'll probably be bunting here, but it should be in a sacrifice situation. See if he gets it to the right side of the infield.
Pitch taken high and inside, 1-0.
Clayton Kershaw there trying to throw that ball up in the strike zone, trying to see if maybe he can get McCutchen to pop it up.
He does pop it up, and Clayton makes the play. That's an unusual scoring. It's a pop up to the pitcher. Rarely see that.
They're having a little conversation, he and Belliard. Belliard saying, hey, that's my ball. After you throw the ball, just get out of the way. I'm supposed to catch it. But you know what? Clayton Kershaw's an athlete, and he loves to play. I mean, he injured himself shagging fly balls during batting practice, crashing into the wall. That's how he hurt his shoulder. And so when he sees a pop fly go up there, he wants to catch it. Belliard wanted the extra put out over there at third base.
Throw to first, and Bixler back with the dive.
That's just an outstanding job there by Clayton Kershaw, too. I mean, he knows from his own experience when he has to go up there and bunt, it's so much more difficult to get a high strike down onto the ground. The tendency is your bat's underneath the ball and you pop it up. You get yourself a cheap out.
So now we have our second consecutive McCutchen batting. Daniel McCutchen pops to the pitcher, and Andrew McCutchen fouls it back.
Watch this swing. You can understand why the Pirates are so high on this kid. Great balance, big hack. He's not a big guy, wiry strength. What'd you say? He's listed at 5'11"?
Yeah.
And you were standing next to him. No chance?
Don't believe it.
Now, you don't have to be big in this game, that's for sure. He can absolutely fly in the outfield. This is a huge center field to cover here in Pittsburgh. 410 in left center. And you can see the expanse there, and he just runs everything down, and he swings the bat, and he's got some pop too.
Thrown out at first, and Bixler was almost caught too far off the bag.
Oh, Russell Martin and James Loney down there at first base have always worked so well together. Watch this. Russell has to be a goalie and knock the ball down first, and then he catches it, and James is right there, and they try to pick Bixler off. Bixler takes the extra lead when he sees the ball in the dirt, knowing that if it skips away from Russell Martin, he's got to try to take second.
Two and one now. Andrew McCutchen, first round pick back in 2005, 11th pick overall. McCutchen hit over 700 his senior year in high school.
Didn't everybody?
No. Runner moving. Base hit to left field. Bixler on his way to third. Pierre will have to get it back into the middle of the diamond. Second hit of the inning for the Pirates. Runners on at the corners with just one out.
One of the things that you can see that the Pirates are trying to do early in this ball game, obviously because it's still close, just a one-run lead for the Dodgers, you can be more aggressive on the base paths. Juan Pierre playing left field. Everybody knows that he does not have a strong throwing arm, so they're going to have it in their mind when you're standing on first base that if the ball's hit anywhere near left field, the chance of you going first and third is something you should definitely think about.
LaRoche, the batter, takes a strike.
You're getting beat 4-0 in this ball game right now. It's a little tougher to be aggressive. You have to kind of stay station to station baseball. It's a lot more fun when you have a lead or you're closer in a ball game where you can be more aggressive out there. It makes the game a lot more fun to play.
LaRoche quickly down in the count, 0-2. So far, Clayton Kershaw has a couple of strikeouts in 2 1/3 innings of work.
McCutchen easily leads this team in stolen bases, but he only has 16 for that same reason. When you're behind in a lot of games, those opportunities don't arise that often.
Ball gets away from Martin, and it's going to allow a run to score.
Well, you know, Russell looked like he was in pretty good position there. The ball bounced off the thumb of his glove. He got down in front of it. He wasn't lazy. Got down there. Sometimes the ball just hits in a spot where you can't keep it in front of you. The ball skipped away. you know, he'll go back and look at the tape and say, well, what else was I supposed to do there? I think I did everything fundamentally sound. And sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce the right way.
It's ruled a wild pitch, the 10th wild pitch of the season for Kershaw. So Bixler scores to tie it at 1, and McCutchen cruises into second. Another ball gets away from Martin, and McCutchen moves up another 90 feet.
All right, here's the difference on this one, obviously. When you look at this one, Eric, you'll see that it goes right through the wickets. It almost looks like it gets down in good position and then kind of pops back up again. So him come back up with the ball. He was thinking that that ball was going to bounce up. But as a catcher, if the ball bounces up, you don't care. You just take it off the chest. You need to get down on your knees and get that glove between your legs so there is no hole for it to find there. And if it does pop up, you just smother it with your chest guard.
You just saw Joe Torre looking on. Joe was an acclaimed catcher in his own day. Is Joe at the point where he's been a manager so long, does he still coach? Will he talk to Russell Martin, or will he leave that to the rest of his staff to talk about things?
Joe generally delegates to the rest of his staff.
Ball is foul, third base side.
But he was a catcher, and he knows the deal. And, you know, he and Russell talk a lot about a lot of things, and that stuff comes up. But a lot of things that show up in a ball game, it's not like Russell doesn't know what he did wrong. You don't really need a guy to say, hey, Russell, you got to stay down on that ball. He knows what he did wrong on that.
3-2 hit hard, another base hit, possibly extra bases for LaRoche. McCutchen easily scores, and it's going to be a double for LaRoche. So Clayton getting cuffed around here a bit in the third inning.
How about LaRoche doing a little damage against his former team? He had a home run earlier in this series. Goes down the line for a double here, and this was one of those at-bats where Clayton got ahead early and was trying to put him away. LaRoche did a great job of not swinging at pitches out of the strike zone, and then got one to handle and hammered it.
Garrett Jones had no success back in that first inning against Kershaw. Swings and misses the first pitch. Jones struck out on 3 pitches to end the first.
He's looked pretty uncomfortable against the left-handed pitching that he's faced in this series. Leads all rookies in the game with 20 home runs, but seriously tardy on 2 fastballs right there.
That's 5 pitches that Garrett Jones has seen. They all have been strikes. Hasn't fouled off any of them. Another 3-pitch strikeout of Garrett Jones.
He might threaten my record. 4 strikeouts on 12 pitches. He's seen 3 pitches, hasn't come close to anything, and that's just, you know, that's Clayton Kershaw right there, recognizing what's going on, the work that he and Russell Martin are doing together. I mean, you see a guy come to the plate and you're blowing your fastball by him. Why would you throw him a curveball or a changeup? Give him a chance to speed up. Just throw another fastball right by him. He hasn't sniffed one.
2-down runner on at second. Lasting's Millage, the number 4 hitter. He bounced out to third, leading off the second inning. This inning we've had 3 base hits for the Pirates. We've had a couple of wild pitches thrown by Kershaw. Before that strikeout of Garrett Jones, the only out recorded by Kershaw had been when the pitcher McCutchen was trying to lay down a sacrifice bunt and popped it back into the mid of Kershaw. Foul tip into the catcher's glove, 1-2. Starting to rain a little bit here at PNC Park. Clayton retired the first 5 men he faced in this ball game, but since then he's faced 7 batters and allowed 4 base hits. So things have changed since we had 2 outs and the bases clear in the bottom of the 2nd inning. 2 of those 4 hits have been doubles. There's that beautiful shot you see from beyond the right field wall here at PNC Park. I'm not sure many people knew that downtown Pittsburgh is as beautiful as it is until PNC opened up.
I think the Pittsburgh skyline gets more pub from the baseball games that are covered than at any other time. And there are people out there that will call themselves baseball purists, guys that have to see every ballpark. If you don't come to Pittsburgh and see one here, then you're missing out. I mean, that skyline behind the ballpark literally looks fake. It's like someone drew it out there. It's like a Hollywood set or something. Today's a little bit more of a gloomy day with the clouds and the sprinkling rain, but on a bright sunny day, it doesn't get a whole lot better. Great shot of it there. Did an outstanding job on this ballpark. Now if they can get some wins and put some people in the seats.
Little flare down the right field line. Eater coming on. It's foul. So we'll do it again. I guess maybe my only beef with this ballpark, and it is really minor, is the center field batter's eye. Right behind the 399 sign in straightaway center field. You've got the Pirates cut out in the shrubbery, which is great. I love that. But then it's just kind of a boring, blah, green wall. It just kind of stands up there out of nowhere.
Well, that's got to be. I think obviously they wanted the water and the bridge and the city to be the star of the show back there, but you do have to have some type of batter's eye, so they had to construct something.
Broken bat to the second baseman. Hudson throws out Millage. Side retired, but a couple of runs scored. 3 base hits, runner left on at second. Pirates lead the Dodgers 2-1. Three big leaguers, 25 years or younger, have recorded 25-plus home runs and 30-plus home run or stolen bases in a single season this decade. Name those 3 players. That's not easy.
I think I can get them. I think I know those.
Wow. 25-30 guys. 25 years and younger. Ethier swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. Scheduled to hit here in the fourth inning, Andre Ethier, Matt Kemp, and James Loney. 3, 4, and 5 in the Dodger lineup. Dodgers clinching a postseason berth last night with their win over the Pirates. A win today for the Dodgers, or if the Dodgers lose, a loss today by the Colorado Rockies, and the Dodgers will have won the NL West. Dodgers currently lead the Rockies by 6 games with 7 games remaining on the schedule. Dodgers own the tiebreaker with the Rockies. Thus the magic number has miraculously gone down to 1. A lot of people left the ballpark yesterday thinking that the magic number had been cut down to 2. But because of tiebreaker rules, this, that, and the other thing, it has been decided the magic number is now officially at 1. 2-2 pitch to Ethier. Down in the dirt, 3-2. Should the Dodgers win the NL West today, a partner, Steve Lyons, are going to be down in the clubhouse.
I will. Have a lot of fun down there with the champagne flowing.
Walk to Ethier, good at bat, saw a lot of pitches. Leadoff man aboard for the first time today against McCutchen.
Start getting a couple times around the order for the Dodgers, and McCutchen, his stuff starts to look the same. They've got a good peek at what he's throwing up there, and you better start watching out, especially when you get to the middle of the order. Ethier on first base now. Big Matt Kemp coming up.
Matty takes strike 1. Steve, we were talking on Friday night about Matt Kemp and his number 27. Says he just went to his locker, and Mitch Poole, the clubhouse guy, had put it in his locker. That's why he wears number 27. There's been some pretty significant numbers 27s in Dodger history, dating back to the days in Brooklyn. Guys like Jose Lima, Kevin Brown, Todd Zeal wore number 27. Willie Crawford back in the late 60s, early 70s. The Vulture, Phil Regan. Tommy Lasorda for a couple of years wore number 27. Cookie Lavagetto. Back in the Brooklyn days, Pete Reiser, who was a phenomenal outfielder. He wore number 27.
Good history.
Actually, you go through virtually every number, and the Dodgers have been playing so long and generally so well over the years that you can find a couple of significant players. With the exception of 99. Manny is the only number 99 in the history of Dodger baseball.
It seems to me that the more creative numbers and the higher numbers that we've seen now that have crept into sports kind of originated in hockey. You know, Gretzky wearing 99 and Fedorov number 91, and you know, some of these guys coming in 77s. Ray Bourque. Well, there's where the Penguins play.
Mellon Arena.
Sidney Crosby right here in this city wears number 87, and you're just wondering, where did that all start?
Fly ball down the right field side, out of play. I'm told by someone smarter than me that Sidney Crosby wears number 87 because that's his birthday. He was born on August 7th, 1987. 87-87. Whatever works. Huh. That actually does make a little bit of sense. You trying to tell me that Sidney Crosby's only 22?
I know.
More hockey talk than we've had all year. Into right field, it's going to get down. Garrett Jones can't make the play. So a couple of base runners on, nobody out here in the fourth inning for the Dodgers. Matt Kemp, I think, broke his bat, but he gets a base hit.
Yeah, a little jam shot. You see a little chip of the bat come flying off of there, but he'll take that. Just dunk it over the second baseman's head for a base hit. Yeah. 8-7, 87. I'm sure I was sitting on the bench in a game with the White Sox.
What was the highest number you had in the big leagues?
50. Well, not in the big leagues. The highest number I had in the big leagues, I think, was 30.
Wow.
I had 54 was my very first number with the Red Sox in spring training. But I never wore that in the big leagues. Got to the big leagues the next year. I had 12. I did wear 4 different numbers with the Red Sox. 12, 19, 7, and 30. A couple different numbers with the White Sox. 18.
James Loney swings at the first pitch and skies it to right field. Well, we've done our research. You said you didn't even remember what you were doing back on August 7th, 1987. Well, we know what you were doing back on August 7th, 1987. You had an RBI double in a 3-2 victory over the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee.
I owned the Brewers. You kidding me?
At Old County Stadium.
Loved playing there, too. Can't say that I remember that game exactly.
Ball down in the dirt. Ethier heading to third, and he's out. Ball didn't get too far away, and Ethier took a chance, and he's out number 2 at third.
I like the fact that Ethier tried this, and look to me, you know, this is one of those the throw beats you and you're out thing. Watch LaRoche come up after he catches the ball. Look to me like Ethier got right in there under the tag. We'll see another look at it. Catch the ball. He's got to pull up to catch the ball, and it doesn't even look like he ever really got Ethier. Tough call. You can see the umpire kind of shaded by LaRoche, the player himself, and it was awfully close. Take another look. Yeah, maybe he did get him right on the ankle on his way by. Either way, Field and Colbreth says he was out, so he is.
Dodgers began this inning with a couple of base runners on, nobody out. Ethier the walk. Moved to second on a broken bat single by Matt Kemp. And then a fly out by James Loney. And now Ethier out trying to advance to third on a ball that got just about a couple of feet away from the catcher Diaz. Kemp back with a head first dive on a close play.
Little pickoff attempt here. You got to think Matt Kemp's thinking about possibly moving up. That was awfully close.
Ooh. He's gone this time. Yep. Looked like he may have been gone. First pickoff throw. Second one gets him for sure. Matty was flinching. You could tell he was thinking about stealing second. So a couple of guys out on the base pass. Dodgers get nothing in the top of the fourth.
you'll see that front leg bend. You'll see that move first. Watch how much movement before there's any leg movement. Look, before his knee has even moved, he's already turned around and throwing. You can see Matt Kemp still standing there. He's trying to recognize the knee bend on his front leg. By that time, way too late. McCutcheon's quick, and then the tag quickly applied to the shoulder. Didn't even bother trying to reach all the way back to the base. That's a nice job by Pierce over there, recognizing that if he tried to reach back to the base to make the tag, he would have been too late. He just let the throw take him right to Kemp's shoulder. Watch how quick this pickoff is in real speed. This would have got you too, Eric.
So that doesn't happen very often. The Dodgers have 2 runners on, nobody out, and without the benefit of a base hit, the inning comes to a close with no runners left on base. 2 guys cut down on the base paths. 1 pitch, 1 out. Robinson Diaz bounces out to third. Let's answer our Aflac trivia question. Told you that Matt Kemp is in select company. Prior to Matt Kemp, only 3 players 25 years of age or younger have recorded 25 home run or 35 and 35 home run or stolen base seasons. The 3 guys, Carlos Beltran, David Wright, and Hanley Ramirez, has done it twice, last year and this year. Those are all in the past decade, this century.
Wow. It scares me. Being visited in the booth here by the Pirate mascot. Turned around and scared the heck out of me when I saw him sitting there. Kind of a scary guy.
Steve Pierce takes downstairs, 2-1. Kershaw has allowed 2 runs on 4 base hits. Both runs coming an inning ago. 2 wild pitches, part of the problem. And now having a hard time getting the ball to 60 feet 6 inches.
Well, the Dodgers, when you look at this road trip, not only in Washington, but on here to Pittsburgh, have played some pretty sloppy baseball. Sometimes you get to this point in the season, you played so well for so long, kind of just trying to get to the point where you can't clinch and move on. But there's some significant games left to be played when you're looking at best record in the National League, so that you can get that home field advantage. Means a lot, especially in the very first series, that short series, staying home, not having to get on the plane and go to fly across the country to start your first series. You can stay home and get a little bit more comfortable. A lot left to play for, even if they clinch in today's game with a win.
Dodgers 3 games ahead of the Cardinals, their best record in the National League. 3-2 pitch. Again, foul, third base side. Clayton has struck out 3. He has not walked a man.
Talked about Pierce's problems early in the ball game, though, but they come mostly against right-handed pitching this year. He's hit just a .173 against righties, a .275 hitter against lefties.
It's hit hard, but for call. Able to make the play. Couple of ground ball outs. 2 outs, bases clear here in the bottom of the 4th.
Take a look at the way Rafael Furcal made that play. Everyone thinks, oh, you got to charge the ball, but you don't have to charge the ball. You have to pick up the right hop to catch. And that's what Rafi did. He read that play and backed up on it. He knows he's got a tremendous arm, backed up on the play to pick out the right hop to catch, so it made an easier play for him.
The shortstop, Luis Cruz, fouls it straight back.
People talk about charging the ball. It's best to have your momentum going forward through a play, and that's where that comes from. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to charge a baseball if you're going to get caught in between a hop and make an error because of it.
Cruz now down in the count 0-2.
You look at National League shortstops and the guys that have the greatest arms. Rafi's still right there. Troy Tulowitzki. Remember Sean Dunston, who just used to air it out every time he got the ball. Escobar with the Braves can whip it. Little Rafael Furcal. Absolute cannon, and he knows that he can put himself into any position and he still has a chance to get a guy out at first base because he can out-throw you.
Talking about Sean Dunston, former Chicago Cub. I saw something recently. The Chicago Cubs are being sold, and one of the guys who actually has a vested interest is Sean Dunston. He says the previous regime, the Tribune Company, owes him money, scholarship money, that was promised to him if and when he decided to go to college. He was drafted out of high school and said, okay, we'll pay for your college should you choose to go. He hasn't gone yet, and he's quibbling, says he wants the money.
He's actually filing a lawsuit based on that to uphold the sale there so that he can get that. Hey, if it was promised to you, it was promised to you. I'm wondering why it's taken so long to give it to him. Probably the point is that they tell you that you have to use that money to go to college. You don't just get the money and hang out with it. Russell's going to have a little conversation with Clayton Kershaw. I remember Joe Torre had talked about a possible pitch limit with Clayton Kershaw, maybe 70 pitches. And so now they're trying to give a little bit more time down in the bullpen. Belisario down there heating it up, and they wanted Russell Martin to go out and talk to Clayton Kershaw to give Belisario a little bit more time. We may be nearing the end of this start for Clayton Kershaw. See if he can get out of it here. 2 outs.
Runner on a first base is Cruz. The second baseman Bixler singled and scored an inning ago. "74 pitches now for Clayton."
That was right around the area where Joe was hoping he could get to. We talked about maybe the one knock on what Clayton Kershaw does is still continues to throw a few too many pitches. Doesn't pitch to contact very well. Big league hitters, they don't square him up very well, but they tend to foul off a lot of pitches when he's out there.
Swing and a miss. Kershaw gets the strikeout, his 4th, strands Cruz on at first. We've played 4. When we come back, it'll be Belliard, Martin, and Hudson to hit. Home run last night, his 5th since joining the Dodgers. He's got 5 homers in 22 games.
Ronnie Belliard, what a find for Ned Coletti and his staff. And wouldn't you know it, Belliard bats leading things off here in the 5th against Daniel McCutcheon. It's been like night and day. The Nationals took him 86 games to get to those 5 home runs. 22. 5 long balls for the Dodgers. Down the right field line, Garrett Jones makes the play. That was interesting. I was watching Garrett Jones. He actually had his head down. He had his head down and was just running, chugging those arms until he got close to the ball, and then he looked up and made the play.
Well, sooner or later, you better look up or else you're going to run right into a wall. But that's kind of the way to do it. Run as fast as you can to the spot and then figure out where you're standing. Nice play. Good athlete. Had a tough time at the dish. My dad used to tell me all the time, if you're not going to get any hits, you better catch the ball.
Martin swings at the first pitch, slowly to the shortstop, and Cruz throws him out. Now, one thing about Garrett Jones, he's got confidence. I was talking to Garrett Jones before the game on Friday. He's a Chicago kid. He was drafted by the Atlanta Braves. And after a couple of years in their chain, it was mid-May 2002, didn't like the way things were going, and he asked for his release. Is that something you ever would have considered?
Well, it almost never happens in the minor leagues because you're afraid you'll never hook on with anybody else.
He wasn't getting much playing time, and he kind of figured that he wasn't long for the organization, so he asked for his release. He was granted it in mid-May. Actually, was only available for a couple of days. The Minnesota Twins said, sure, we'd like to sign you. And he signed with the Minnesota Twins and made an immediate impression. Within the first week that he signed, he was playing low-A baseball for the swing of the Quad Cities and hit 4 home runs in a game. 4, yeah. The reason he asked for his release is he just figured he wasn't going to get an opportunity, and he wanted to be out in the open market before the middle of June rolled around and the amateur draft was held, and then all the systems got new players to infuse into their chains. He figured he maybe lost in the shuffle and not be able to find a spot, so he figured mid-May he'd have a month to hook on with another team. He found another team, and he played in the Twins organization, eventually making it to the big leagues last year.
Well, they certainly love his power here with the Pirates. In fact, talked about it all series long. He's got 20 home runs. That leads all rookies in home runs, but they're really trying to make him not so robotic at the plate, trying to get him to squat down a little bit more, have a little bit more movement into the ball. He said he's got massive power, but he just seems like they don't really like his stance, and they're trying to loosen him up and let him be a little bit more of an athlete at the plate.
So the walk issued to Orlando Hudson, second walk for Daniel McCutcheon, and the pitcher spot comes up, and it's not Clayton Kershaw. Instead, it's Doug Minkiewicz grabbing a bat. So Kershaw is done. He does 4 innings, gives up 2 runs, both of them earned. Allowed 4 base hits. He walked 1 and struck out 4, and he is done. 77 pitches.
This is a nice little gesture, I think, by Joe Torre, getting Minkiewicz up to the plate. He might not normally be your first choice at this point in the game to pinch hit. Of course, Minkiewicz spent his time here, had some successful time here. I mean, he was great for this organization. He's such a good guy around the clubhouse, as he has been for the Dodgers. Missed most of this season, but worked out with the team every day, was in uniform every day. He's a smart guy. Got a lot to pass along as far as attitude and ability to the other players on this team, and that's the same attitude he had here in Pittsburgh.
High pop up, first base side, it'll make it into the seats. Well, we were talking earlier in the ball game about Clayton Kershaw and his sweat-stained hat. And I guess my question to you is, what do you find more sanitary, Doug Minkiewicz's helmet or Clayton Kershaw's hat?
Neither. They're both ugly.
I wouldn't eat a meal off of either one of them.
I don't think anyone's going to ask you to anytime soon.
Doug's been on the disabled list with a separated shoulder for the bulk of the season, yet that helmet looks as if he's played in 155 games.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he worked out hard. He was with the team every day, and he really got to be a little bit more of a well-rounded player with his time here in Pittsburgh, too. You know him as a first baseman for the most part with the Twins. When he came here to Pittsburgh, he played a lot of third base and a lot of right field. And his attitude not only rubbed off on the ball players that were here, and there were many of them because it's been a revolving door, but also the fans. They loved him here in his time in Pittsburgh.
It's always a surprise when anything rubs off of Doug Mankiewicz. He's always got all that.
Stick 'em. Doesn't even bother wearing batting gloves because his hands are just permanently stuck to that bat. He's got all the pine tar and the Manny Mota stick.
It's the Lester Hayes approach to batting.
Yeah. If it gets anywhere near me, I'll catch it. It'll just stick to me.
I do like the Mark Grace look with the no batting gloves.
He's old school.
Former high school teammates with Alex Rodriguez. Snap throw to first. That was almost the third Dodger caught on the base paths. Good throw by Diaz.
Once again, sort of a set play between the first baseman and the catcher. The first baseman knows that there's a possibility that he might throw down after a pitch like that, so don't wander too far off the bag and make sure you get back. I love catchers that like to throw. Russell Martin likes to throw. Keeps everybody on their toes.
Called strike 3. Doug doesn't believe it, but Brian O'Nora gets the final say. 2-out walk to Hudson. He's stranded. When we come back, we'll tell you about the new pitcher, Ronald Belisario, coming on for the Dodgers.
Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by Shakey's Pizza. Money crunch? Try Shakey's all-you-can-eat bunch of lunch. Pizza, chicken, and more. Served 11 to 2 daily, only at your neighborhood Shakey's.
This is actually inside the ballpark here at PNC Park. Permane Brothers, legendary sandwiches. You get a little bit of everything on there. You get the big, thick sliced Italian bread. A lot of different meats you can make a sandwich out of it, but every single sandwich comes with the coleslaw, the fries, the tomatoes right on the sandwich. That's Permane Brothers.
You got to do it. You got to have it.
It looks great. It's right up my alley. The type of thing I normally just go for, but doesn't do much for me. I've actually been to the original one, and I went away disappointed.
Wow,
is that bad to say?
It's a great advertisement for the Permane Brothers sandwich.
It looks great. The experience is great.
They have something like that in Cleveland down at the Flats. It's a different.
I think it's called Paninis or something.
Yes, it's like very close, but not the same.
Well, we thought it was going to be Ronald Belisario. He was the pitcher that was loosening in the bullpen for the Dodgers. But I guess somewhere, lost in the shuffle, Jeff Weaver was also getting loose. So Weaver comes on in place of Clayton Kershaw.
Love your candidness and your honesty, but I'm going to have the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce send all their letters to you.
I don't think they need any more pub right now. The Chamber of Commerce is doing just fine. They had the G20 summit over this past week. Everyone around the world is talking about Pittsburgh and how nice it washes up and what a great job they did hosting this. Little old me talking poorly of the Permane Brothers sandwich is going to be like water in the back of a duck.
We've said nice things about the stadium and the city.
Except for the batter's eye.
That was you, once again.
McCutchen can't find it. And Jeff Weaver comes out of the bullpen and strikes out the first man he faces. Join the Dodgers this Saturday when they take on the Rockies, and the first 50,000 fans in attendance will receive a 2010 Dodgers team photo calendar presented by the Hart Gallery. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. 2010 Dodgers season will actually begin here in Pittsburgh. It took a while for the Dodgers to make their way here to Western Pennsylvania to take on the Pirates here in their home ballpark. Won't take any time at all next year. They're going to start the season off here against the Pirates.
Better bring your jacket that early in the season. Might be a little chilly out. And then I believe the team goes from Pittsburgh, where it will be cold, down to Miami, where it won't be.
McCutchen, little cue shot. And he's down in the count 0-2. That last couple of weeks we've been talking about Ronnie Belliard and Jim Thome and the trade deadline acquisitions that have really helped the Dodgers stay in first place. John Garland, of course, George Sherrill. But Jeff Weaver and some of the other pitchers that Ned Coletti brought in spring training and just gave an opportunity, kind of a Walter Mitty opportunity, it really paid out. We were talking in spring training, Steve, and didn't know what you were going to get. If you got anything out of Eric Milton, Jeff Weaver, Eric Stoltz, got a couple of nice starts.
Well, and I think that was the point that Ned Coletti made when people were saying, wait a minute, Sean Estes and Milton and Weaver, these guys past their prime. But they were all former All-Stars that had arm problems, and then were all healthy.
Into center field, base hit on an 0-2 pitch for McCutchen.
I think the point that Ned Coletti wanted to make is like, these guys are here to win a shot at possibly the fifth starter or a bullpen role. And Weaver was the one that really took the bull by the horns in that situation and made it work for him all season long. And he said, I'll pitch out of the pen. I've been a starter my whole career, but I'll move to the pen if that's what you need. And he's reinvented himself as a pitcher. Used to be much more of a power guy, but now he's changed his delivery a little bit. He throws at different arm angles, and he gets a lot of hitters to swing at his motion rather than the pitch he's throwing.
There goes McCutchen, and he steals the bag easily. Got a good jump, and he's in scoring position.
Great jump, good speed, 17th stolen base on the year, and Weaver is a tad slow to the plate. McCutchen just straight towards the bag. I like the straight in slide that he made too, feet first.
So McCutchen in scoring position. Andy LaRoche, 1 for 2, an RB opportunity. When people look back at this season, I don't know if it's going to be remembered that Eric Milton gave this team 5 starts and 2 wins, an ERA of 3.81. Been on the disabled list with a back injury. He's not coming back, but that's a contribution that no one would have expected in spring training. Charlie Hager, when he was needed, he was called upon. And Hager, 3 starts, 5 appearances. He won a ball game, an ERA of 3.44. Jason Schmidt, say what you want, but the guy won 2 games. He took the ball 4 times, 4 starts, 8 up some innings, got 2 wins, took a couple of losses. Getting anything out of Jason Schmidt after all the shoulder injuries he's had in recent years, a huge bonus.
Well, the Dodgers, I think, are a classic example of a team that will show you that you don't win a championship. You don't get into the playoffs with 25 guys. You do it with 40, at least. You go deep into that roster. You go into the minor leagues at different times during the season. Now, the Dodgers, on the whole, have been remarkably healthy. They have not had a lot of serious injury problems, especially in the starting 9. They have the suspension for 50 games with Manny Ramirez, but for the most part, a very, very healthy ball club. and they still used all the guys that you've mentioned.
Two balls and two strikes. McCutcheon on at second. In total, the Dodgers had 21 different guys pitch here in 2009. And the guy with the best ERA?
Eric Stoltz.
Mark Loretta.
That's unfair.
He threw a scoreless third of an inning in a game in St. Louis back in July. Into center field. Easy play for Kemp. McCutcheon's going to challenge him. No, he puts on the brakes.
Oh, look at that. That's, just why deny us the pleasure of what might have happened at the end of that play? The Tinkle guy out in center field just letting it rip. I mean, when you're Matt Kemp and a ball gets lofted in and you know there's a fast runner, you're begging him to go. You want him to go. You want this challenge. Get behind it, come in through the ball, and let it rip. Perfect throw, easily cut off. That would have been a fun result down at third.
Now the happiest guy in Pittsburgh, that Clayton Kershaw is out of the ball game, is this man, Garrett Jones. He saw 6 pitches from Clayton and missed them all. Struck out on 6 pitches and 2 at-bats. He was 2 of the 4 strikeouts for Kershaw in his 4 innings of work. And now he's going to see 4 pitches, all of them intentionally out of the zone. Intentional walk, put runners on at first and second.
Well, I like this move. Maybe a little unconventional. Some people might think, why are they walking him in this situation? But you get to the right-hander Millage. We've already talked about the prodigious power that Jones has. And, right now Weaver's a guy that's got a tricky. He can't throw it by you. And they don't want it, if they look at Jones, if there's one complaint about him, he looks like he might have a little bit of a slider speed back. And by that I mean he's a guy that can't catch up with a real good fastball. Clayton Kershaw proved that. But Jeff Weaver doesn't have a real good fastball anymore. And you put that matchup together and you might see one in the seats. Go after Millage instead.
Millage is the cleanup hitter in name only. He's got just 3 home runs so far this season. Hasn't played a full season, only about 55 games. Got good bat speed, but so far at the big league level, the home runs have not come.
He has not been a slouch for this ball club, though. No question about that. In his last 28 games, he's hit .340. As you mentioned, not a lot of power in there, but he is swinging the bat well.
McCutcheon gets his lead off of second. Jones on at first. Off the end of the bat. 0-2. Magic number to win the West. Down to 1. Either a Dodger win today or a Rocky loss later today. And the Dodgers win the NL West for the 2nd consecutive year. Rockies just getting underway in Denver against the St. Louis Cardinals.
A couple guys on the field today will have a chance to talk about their most recent World Series appearance. They'll get a chance now to start telling some of those stories to maybe some of the younger guys. Both Jeff Weaver and Ronnie Belliard played on the '06 World Series team in St. Louis, so you got to think there might be a couple guys sliding up there. Maybe some of the guys like Loney and Kemp and Russell Martin wanting to talk about them, about their experience and how much fun it was and how to handle it or how it's different. Juan Pierre for the Marlins won a World Series. Manny with the Red Sox. Some decent World Series playoff experience. And you look at a guy like Randy Wolf, all the years he spent, 11 years, never made a playoff appearance. Might be your opening day starter. Not your opening day starter, but game 1 starter in the playoffs.
Weaver pitches around Garrett Jones to get to the last innings Millage, and it pays off. He strikes him out, advances a couple of runners on. They move to the 6th, 2-1 Pirates.
When the leaves turn brown, I'll be wearing another batting crown. Isn't that what he said?
Dave Parker, the Cobra. Man was huge. Swung a small bat. Won a couple of batting titles. Hit for decent power. He could run. Had a hose in right field. That's the Batting Stance Guide, brought to you by Blue Shield of California. Can you tell that I like Dave Parker back in the 70s?
He's your favorite player.
Well, he's up there.
My favorite Dave Parker story, and I'll shorten it down, was I opened the season 1 year playing second base, and we came to play in Oakland where he was playing. It was about the 5th game of the season, and there was a double play ball.
On the ground for call. Hits it to the second baseman, Bixler. 1 out. Daniel McCutcheon is cruising.
And I had always heard that Dave Parker's going to come in hard. He'll come in hard, so you better get rid of the ball. Big guy coming at you. But what I didn't know is that he was going to scream at me. And as soon as I caught the ball, he yelled at me. And I had never played second base before. I spent the entire spring training learning how to play second base. I turned a bunch of double plays. I thought I'd seen every play. I never heard anybody scream at me as I was turning it. I turned the double play fine, but then I had to go find a new pair of pants to wear the next inning. Scared the heck out of me.
He could match. They had that big middle of the lineup with Willie Stargell, about 260 pounds, and Parker was 250. Chuck Tanner was the skipper. Some glory days for the Pirates. Those days are long gone. This is their 17th consecutive season where they've had a losing record.
Andy Sanguian always smiled. Always had a smile on his face.
Mad Dog, Bill Matlock. Base hit for Juan Pierre, his first base hit. 4th hit of the ball game for the Dodgers. Runner on at first with 1 out. Now you can cruise into the deep blue aboard the first ever Dodgers Fantasy Cruise. Join Steve Garvey and other Dodgers greats and Steve Lyons for a 7-day carnival cruise along the Mexican Riviera, November 15th through the 22nd. To book your cabin or to learn more, call 323-224-2646 or visit Dodgers.com/cruise. You can ask Steve Garvey about those 1970s era Pittsburgh Pirates and how good they were.
Steve loves to talk about his time with the Dodgers, obviously, and the championships, and tell some great stories about that era of the game.
Pierre on at first base. Andre Ethier takes a ball.
Now, to me, on a 2-1 ball game in the 6th, it's not too late to get too conservative. Diaz got a nice arm behind the plate there. And we've already seen how quick McCutcheon is, but if Juan sees something he likes, don't be surprised if he takes off.
27 steals on the season for Juan. He's been caught 12 times. That's a success rate of 69%.
That's some quick math skills.
Hidden skill. I think it's not so hidden. He showed it off.
That's not a great percentage if you're going to be a base stealer, but I think that Juan Pierre has been in and out of the lineup. It's not consistent. It's a little tougher for him to get a flow down there and stealing bases. And Juan Pierre, in my time with the Dodgers, and has matched up with Juan's, I've never seen a guy be safe more times and get called out. You know, occasionally, I'm a big fan of the umpires. I think they're amazing at what they do. But if there's a bad call that goes against the Dodgers, Juan Pierre's involved in it. Plays at first where he's safe. Stolen base attempts where it's like he was safe, called him out. It's always Juan Pierre. Never complains one word, never says one thing about it.
Not going. Fouled away.
And I think the thing that you have to appreciate with Juan Pierre more than anything else is that he's a base stealer in the truest sense of the word. He is a guy that never sneaks up on anybody. He never, Juan Pierre stole a base? No. Everyone in the house knows that there's a chance that he might go. So you're ready for it. It's not like you're not holding him on, or it's not like the catcher isn't sitting back there saying, I got to have my best stance, I got to be quick, I got to do everything right in order to get him. Everyone knows. When you can steal, when everybody knows that you're going to, That makes you a base stealer. James Loney this year. So he got 7 or 8 stolen bases.
Stealth.
Yeah, and he has a great percentage when he goes, but it's a big surprise when he goes, and he's very smart about it. It gets you when you're least expecting it. Juan Pierre doesn't get to do that.
Already today, McCutchen has picked off 1 Dodger. He got Matt Kemp to stray too far off the bag back in the 4th inning.
McCutchen's pretty good at using the old jump turn. A lot of pitchers don't do that anymore because it's slower, but because McCutchen, we showed you earlier how quickly he turns his upper half, all he has to do is get his feet moving, and he's already throwing the ball over there. This guy, McCutchen, is a great athlete. We already told you he's one of the fastest runners on this entire Pittsburgh team. Now, I'm pretty sure McCutchen, the other McCutchen, got him by a step or 2. But it might be a fun race, because that guy can fly.
This is the 5th start of the season for Daniel McCutchen. So far, it's shaping up to be by far his best.
Remember, they told you the last start that McCutchen made against the Dodgers, he had given up a run in the 1st, a run in the 3rd, and it was about right at this point in the game where Andre Ethier broke it open with a 2-run home run. That set McCutchen to his loss.
Two balls and 2 strikes.
McCutchen's just done a good job of hitting all quadrants of the strike zone. He's been up and down, in and out. But the way that Ethier's been standing up there during this at-bat, he seems very, very comfortable, almost like he's saying, hey, McCutchen's got nothing that he can fool me with.
Are you surprised that Juan hasn't attempted to steal so far?
Just a little. A lot of times they like to go early in the count. But I know maybe Juan doesn't feel great. And obviously McCutchen's already proved that he's got a great move. He's not going to steal just to steal. He wants to have everything going his way, and he might not be able to read the move. The other factor, obviously, and as I said before, I don't think it's too late yet. The Dodgers are down a run here. Maybe you just want to hang out and see what Andre Ethier can do. Obviously, you're talking about the guy that leads your team in RBIs. Maybe give him a chance to drive in 2 with 1 swing of the bat.
There he goes. Ball lifted in right field. Medium deep. Garrett Jones makes the play, and Pierre has to scamper back to first. 2 outs here in the 6th. Just getting word out of Denver that Troy Tulowitzki has driven in a run, and the Rockies lead the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 1-0. That's the 1st inning. Game just getting started. Either a Dodger win or a Rockies loss, and the Dodgers will have wrapped up the NL West for the 2nd consecutive year. I think the Dodgers, well, I don't think, the Dodgers would prefer to win this game and not have to wait around until later this afternoon when that game out in Denver gets over. The Dodgers are ready to celebrate should they clinch the NL West here in Pittsburgh today. And if they do, Steve, you're going to be down there. You got your rain gear because it's going to be wet.
I have no rain gear. I don't have a snorkel. I don't have any goggles. I have nothing.
Kemp hits this one high and deep to center field. McCutchen going back. He's going to have room. About 3 feet before the edge of the track, he makes the grab. Kemp gave it a ride, but McCutchen makes the play rather easily. Home after 6 is next.
cam, we showed you how quick McCutcheon is on the pickoff. Look, Matty Kemp hasn't even tried to get back to first base. Now you're going to realize it's too late. Another freeze right there on Pierce, the first baseman. Excellent tag right on the right shoulder of Matt Kemp. They thought they had him on the play before that. They turned around and got him right back after that. And that was a Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed. It's not just regular beer, it's Frost Brewed Coors Light. Frost Brewed. Must mean it's cold.
Home after the 6th inning. Jeff Weaver begins his 2nd inning of work in relief of Clayton Kershaw, who went 4 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. Robinson Diaz leads things off. The catcher will be followed by the first baseman Steve Pierce and then the shortstop Luis Cruz. Diaz has bounced the shortstop and the third baseman.
Interesting first name, huh? With the Z in it. R-O-B-I-N-Z-O-N, Robinson. I think his friends just call him Robbie.
I bet. Maybe Robin. Robbie's probably a better bet.
Yeah.
Diaz from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. He's testing all the infielders. This time Hudson throws him out. Diaz has bounced out to third, to short, now second. Form holds, we'll see him round out to James Loney later in the ballgame.
I like this play here by Hudson. Watch him go over and look, he's down on a knee. Remember when they used to teach you as a grade schooler, go down on a knee if you have to? What's wrong with that? Big leaguers don't do it much anymore. But all it does is ensure, almost like a catcher trying to block a ball, a bad hop hits you in the chest, you stay in front of it, you can throw him out. He's all dirty on his knee. I like that he does that. It's old school catching the ball, especially at second base. It's one of the few places you can do it because you have more time and a shorter throw to first. But I think it's great when a major league player will just stick with fundamentals, just do it the right way. Doesn't have, he's flashy sometimes when he has to range to his right or left, but the rest of the time when it's more of a routine play, just does it the way you're supposed to do it.
Well, you told us last inning about your attempt to play second base in the big leagues and your experience with Dave Parker turning a double play.
My attempt?
No. Your conversion to a second baseman. Did you go down on one knee?
Occasionally. Sometimes. Not often. But I just don't think it's not a bad idea if you do.
Cue shot off the end of the bat. Weaver fields. Underhand toss to Loney. 2 outs. Kind of an oddball question, but who was the most fundamentally unsound guy that you ever saw play that actually was effective?
Ozzie Guillen. And I don't know if fundamentally unsound is maybe the way to use, but he was very creative. He did a lot of things that you wouldn't teach someone else to do and got away with it. He used to throw off the wrong foot most of the time. He would charge balls that he didn't have to. But I'm also on record, and you've heard me say this a bunch of times, that he was one of the best I ever saw. Got a chance to play with him for a number of years there in Chicago. And I think when you see a guy over a period of time, you knock him more. Whereas some guys, they don't see the guy play very much. They hear about it. It's a reputation that he's a good player.
Hard hit ball scoots into left field. Belliard couldn't make the play. Hot smash off the bat of the shortstop Cruz. 2 outs, runner on at first.
See Ronnie trying to make this play down at third base. This is a tough one. Good, quick first step, but it's just kind of a hand-eye thing. That ball hopped over his glove. He got to the spot where he could have made the play, but it's just a tough judge there. Put his glove where he thought it was going to go, and it bounced right over. And back to my Ozzie thing, the more you see of a guy, the more chance you have to say, well, you can nitpick. Well, he doesn't do this very well. He doesn't do that. You don't see a guy very much. You see him play really well. You're like, wow, that guy's awesome. Well, I saw Ozzie play a lot, and he was awesome.
second baseman Brian Bixler will bat, throw to first base. Back with the head first dive is Cruz. Bixler singled. Came around to score on a wild pitch by Clayton Kershaw back in that third inning. Third inning was the only inning where we saw any runs scored. The Dodgers scored a run in their half of the third on an RBI single by Rafael Furcal. And then the Pirates answered with two of their own in the bottom half of that frame. On the ground, this should end the inning. Hudson, side retired. 3 ground ball outs, sandwiched around a single off the bat of Luis Cruz. Weaver doing his job. Through 6, 2-1, Buccos. It is turned out to be a beautiful afternoon.
A few billowy clouds in the air, too.
Through 6 innings, the Pirates on top of the Dodgers by a score of 2-1. Dodgers still have time to figure out Daniel McCutchen, who has thrown 6 innings of 4-hit baseball at the Dodgers. James Loney, Ronnie Belliard, and Russell Martin to bat here in the 7th. Loney takes down in the dirt, ball 1.
In McCutchen's second start of the Major League season here with Pittsburgh, he went 7 innings against Chicago. He did give up 9 hits in that game and 4 runs and took the loss. So he's into the territory that he doesn't get into very often. Now pitching into the 7th.
Two balls, no strikes. The one thing we know about Daniel McCutchen, he is a man of great restraint. He was drafted 3 times before he eventually signed. He was drafted 3 times and said no each of those 3 times before being drafted a 4th time and eventually signed. Downstairs, he was drafted after a junior college year in 2003. In the 47th round by the Yankees, and he just figured, okay, I might as well stay in school and continue. Was drafted the following year in 2004 in the 29th round, still not a very tempting round. This time by the Tampa Bay Rays, decided to stay in school. Loney hits this one hard, and it's going to be off the wall. Fielded nicely by Garrett Jones, and it's going to be a single for James Loney. A single off the wall. Dodgers will take the base runner, but I think everyone in the ballpark thought that was going to be a double.
Well, James hit that ball so hard And Jones played it so well out there. I mean, James only gets about 3 steps out of the box before this is hitting Roberto Clementi's number out there in right field. And then Jones plays it nicely off of that wall and gets it back in. James is dead if he tries to go for 2.
And maybe all for Daniel McCutcheon. The skipper, John Russell, goes out to the mound. He's going to take the ball away. So McCutcheon gives up the leadoff single to Loney. We'll tell you who the new pitcher is when we come back. He's responsible for Loney. He can win this game. He cannot lose it. This is his best start of the season, no doubt about that. He gives way to Jesse Chavez, kid who played community college ball at Riverside Community College. Second-year big leaguer, throws downstairs, ball 1. This is the 71st appearance of the season.
He's been in a ton of games. We talk a lot about how many games the Dodgers bullpen and all the appearances that a lot of those guys have made. This guy is 71st. Only Jonathan Broxton has been in 70 games for the Dodgers.
Ronnie Belliard is flat out to right twice. Belliard, a home run yesterday, his 5th since joining the Dodgers.
It's kind of the formula these days, and you certainly even see Joe Torre doing it as well. Seems like if a starter comes out to pitch in the 7th inning, if he gives up a hit or a guy gets on, the very first guy, that guy's gone out of there. Saw it yesterday with Randy Wolf. Walked the first guy, got the next guy out, and he was done.
Hard smash down the right field line. Extra bases for Belliard. Loney chugging around third. He's going to be stopped. Nobody out. Larry Bowe is not going to take any chances. He throws up the stop sign. And Loney on at third on the double by Belliard.
Belliard is the craziest hitter I've ever seen. He either hits everything down the left field line or down the right field line. And usually you don't see that much. I mean, he either pulls the ball or he says, all right, let's go the other way. Right down the right field line for a double. Continues to swing a hot bat, and Joe Torre is going to ride that horse as long as he can.
So Belliard getting it done. His first base hit of the ball game, and the Dodgers have a rally going. Runners on at second and third, nobody out. And Russell Martin takes outside, ball 1. Remember, the Dodgers' magic number to win the NL West for a second consecutive year is 1. Dodgers win this game, there'll be a celebration in the clubhouse after the ball game, and we'll bring it your way. Breaking ball for a strike. Two and one. Just keep in mind, Manny Ramirez not in the starting lineup today. He is available to pinch hit. He's in the dugout, just kind of hanging out, first base side. What a weapon that is. Joe Torre's got Manny Ramirez and Jim Thome, over 1,000 career home runs, available to pinch hit.
Casey Blake sitting down there as well. In yesterday's ball game, this Pirate team had to face off the bench the pinch hitters Loney, Ethier, and Thome. Good luck. None of those guys started. They ended up in the game doing some damage.
Oh, Russell chased the ball in the dirt. And that's out number one.
Now this is where Russell just got himself out in front a little bit. Watch the balance on the swing. If a good swing, you can draw a line right like that is what you should be able to do. You can see Russell with his body way out in front of himself, just got fooled by the pitch. And then what happens is all that balance that you're trying to achieve breaks down, and your top half starts to go with you because you're reaching for the ball, and then you're in trouble.
Jim Thome grabs the bat. Looks like he'll hit in the pitcher spot after Orlando Hudson. Fly ball of medium depth could score this run and tie this ball game, and they're not going to get an opportunity for Orlando Hudson to do it. They're going to intentionally walk him to get to Jim Thome.
Thome just absolutely laced the ball into right field in yesterday's ball game. But the thinking behind this is the fact that Jim Thome still has a bad foot, and he's an easy double play candidate if he doesn't get the ball in the air. Now, Jim Thome hasn't been announced yet, so Joe Torre might decide to do something else, but kind of doubt it.
Steve, there doesn't seem to be a left-hander loosening in the bullpen for Pittsburgh. So they're going to have Jim Thome bat with the bases loaded against a right-handed pitcher.
Chavez is probably your best candidate to get a ground ball if he throws a sinking fastball. Jim Thome's getting closer and closer to being the guy that's got, what has he got, 550 home runs? Just absolutely laced the ball into right field. All he needs is to get that elevation. He's been used sparingly, obviously, in the National League. He can't play defense. He's trying to get that swing down.
Now, Jim Thome, in 345 at-bats this season, that includes his time with the White Sox, he has hit into 8 double plays. That's not a lot.
Well, that's because he does lift the ball very well. He can get the ball in the air. The best right-handed hitter I ever saw at being able to elevate a pitch was Mark McGwire. He never hit the ball on the ground.
Bases loaded. Loney at third. Belliard at second. Hudson on at first. Best opportunity of the day for the Dodgers. 1-0.
Dodger fans have not seen Jim Thome get into one yet.
Two and 0. There's a strike. 94 miles per hour on the outer edge. Inning began with a Loney single off the right field wall. A double by Belliard down the right field line. The strikeout of Martin, and now an intentional walk of Hudson. Bases loaded, 1 out. Dodgers down by 1. The 2-1 to Tomey.
Jim Tomey is like a lot of guys with power. His best power is in the left center field. He will pull a lot of his home runs, but Chavez has stayed away, away, away. He certainly does not have a problem with driving the ball into that left center field gap. Seen mostly hard stuff. Struck out Martin with a breaking ball. Let's see what he does now.
On the ground, double play ball. Cruz bobbles it. They only get the out at first. A run scores and we're tied at 2. What a break for the Dodgers.
Cruz looked like he wanted to go make a play on that ball before he actually caught it. He had the shift on up the middle. This would be a base hit in a lot of situations, but watch him start to make an attempt there to go run to cover second base before he actually caught the ball. And remember, when you're on a shift like that, that's kind of your ball. You've got nobody else over there to cover the bag. You've got no one to throw it to. So he had to run over and try to get the out, and he forgot to take the ball with him.
So the Dodgers score. No error on that play because they do get the out at first base. Belliard moves over to third. Good hustle by Hudson to make it down to second. We talked all series long. The Pirates, the fewest errors in all of baseball, the best fielding percentage, but a double play not turned cost them the lead. For call, hits it hard at the second baseman Bixler. Dodgers have to settle for a run, but it's a big run. They tie it at 2. Time to stand up and stretch it out. Bottom of the 7th is next. Dodgers tied with the Pirates. fantastic afternoon. Sunday afternoon baseball from the Steel City. We're tied at 2 as we play the home half of the 7th inning. New pitcher for the Dodgers, third pitcher of the ballgame. Replacing an effective Jared Weaver is Ronald Belisario, 66th appearance of the season for the right-hander from Venezuela.
Belisario, what a great year he's having. 6-year minor league free agent signed for the Dodgers.
We're going to have a pinch hitter here leading things off. Home half of the 7th inning, Ramon Vasquez. Guy's played for a bunch of teams in his career. He bats in the pitcher's spot. So Jesse Chavez, his work is done. We'll see a new pitcher for the Pirates when we come back for the 8th inning. First things first, Pirates trying to break this 2-2 tie. Got an identical line score. Dodgers 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors. The Pirates 2 runs on 6 hits. They've made no errors.
I put into perspective what Belisario has done this year. Never played in the big leagues, obviously, before this season. The most appearances he ever made in a minor league game was last year at Altoona. 38 appearances. This is his 66th game so far this season. Began his career as a starter. Went to the bullpen shortly thereafter. Has been a relief pitcher ever since. But this year, you talk about breakout seasons. The ERA over the last 2 years was up near 5. I think one of the smartest things that was ever said to him was said to him by Rafael Furcal, and that was early in the season after he had a pretty good spring, and he just blows him away right there. Rafi said, "You've got a great sinker, and look over who's playing second base. That's Orlando Hudson. Pretty good. I'm going to play short. I'm pretty good. Throw your sinker. We'll catch it." He was messing around, throwing a lot of breaking balls. He was getting hit, was getting behind hitters. Since that time, he's pretty much gone with that sinker, and it's worked out pretty well for him.
Andrew McCutchen takes the strike. Yeah, the guys in the know back in spring training didn't see much of Belisario. Remember, he just got limited innings, but when he did perform, it was duly noted. Rifle shot into the gap in right center field. It's going to get all the way to the wall. Kemp has to play it. And McCutchen's thinking about 3. The throw to third, not in time. 1-out triple for McCutchen, who can really scoop.
Well, we told you about McCutchen before, all of what he possesses as a ball player. This ball hard into the gap. That just took off on a second gear. Watch him go. His 8th triple of the season, and you're talking about relay throws made from Matt Kemp and then Rafael Furcal, 2 of the best arms in baseball, and he outran both of them.
So now the infield comes in all the way around at the cut of the grass, with the exception of Ronnie Belliard, who's actually playing behind the bag at third. And Andy LaRoche, the former Dodger, trying to make his former teammates pay. Roach played with a lot of these Dodgers coming up through the Dodger chain. He was traded from the Dodgers to the Pirates last summer. Down in the count 0-2. Belisario would love a strikeout here. And he gets it on 3 pitches, ties him up inside. There are now 2 outs. The infield can go back to their normal depth.
You see that kind of movement. The ball looks like it's out over the middle of the plate, and then it just tails in on your hands. Watch the late movement on this play. You can't hit that pitch. Watch him get tied up. Tries to bring his hands in to get the bat head to it. No chance.
Is that a strike?
It probably ended up not being a strike. It certainly started off out over the middle of the plate.
What a strange day this has been for Garrett Jones. His first 2 times up, albeit against the left-hander Clayton Kershaw, looked atrocious. He saw 6 pitches and struck out twice. The minimum amount of pitches it would take to strike out twice. And now, for the second consecutive time, he's being intentionally walked by the Dodgers.
I think you walk away from this game being a little bit disappointed if you're Jones. But if you really take a step back from it and you say, wait a minute, the opposing manager is Joe Torre, and he's showing me that kind of respect where he's walking me back-to-back times in a game like this, I got to walk away feeling pretty good, as if I may have had an impact on this game that could have beaten the Dodgers and Joe Torre.
Is that respect for Garrett Jones, or is that disrespect for Lastings Millage? The second time they've intentionally walked Jones to get to Millage.
It's a little of both. But obviously with the tailing fastball that Belisario has, it's a little easier for the left-hander to kind of let that ball trail through the zone and slap it into left field, whereas we already saw how Belisario can tie you up if you're a right-hander.
In this situation, back in the 5th inning, 2 runners on. Millage struck out looking against Jeff Weaver. Runners on at the corners. 2-2 tie. There goes Jones to third. Belliard bobbled it, but makes the play. Side retired. Woo. Dicey chance for Belliard, but he makes it. No run score. We've got 7 in the books, tied at 2. Outside the box, happened in the 7th inning. Bases loaded. Jim Thome hit what looked to be a potential double play ground ball. Luis Cruz, the shortstop, bobbles it, is able to get Thome out at first, but they don't get the double play. A run scores, and instead of being a 2-1 lead for Pittsburgh, it's a tie ball game at 2 apiece. Jim Thome gets credit with the run batted in. That's our Jack in the Box outside the box. New pitcher in the ball game for Pittsburgh. Third pitcher of the ball game, it's Joel Hanrahan. Hanrahan, 1-4 on the season, an ERA just south of 5. Began the season pitching with the Washington Nationals. Came over with Lastings Millage in that midseason trade. Sent Niger Morgan and Sean Burnett to our nation's capital. Hanrahan has not pitched since working a couple of scoreless innings at Dodger Stadium back on September 15th. Hanrahan will work against 2, 3, and 4 in the Dodger lineup. Juan Pierre, Andre Ethier, and Matt Kemp We've not seen Manny Ramirez today. He is available to pinch hit. Dodgers dodged a bullet. Bottom of the 7th inning. A one-out triple by Andrew McCutchen with Belisario. Struck out Andy LaRoche. After the intentional walk to Garrett Jones, he got Lasting's Millage to bounce out to third. Belliard made it more interesting than it needed to be. Bobbled it, but still got Millage by a half step.
That appearance by Hanrahan on the 15th against the Dodgers was the last time he pitched. Hasn't pitched for 12 days.
Into right field. Line drive caught by Jones. Ball hung up in the air. One up, one down.
That almost looked like a home run swing from Juan Pierre. The last home run that he hit was right here in Pittsburgh a year ago.
So Ethier swings on top of that pitch. 0-1. Ethier walked back in the 4th inning. Moved to second and was eventually cut down, trying to go to third on a ball that escaped the catcher Diaz by a couple of feet. This one is going to be caught by the shortstop Cruz. Humpback liner. There are now 2 outs here in the 8th.
You look at Ethier's numbers lately. He's in a little bit of a mini slump. Just 2 for his last 20.
They announced a crowd of 26,000 here today, which is a good crowd when you consider there was a lot of rain, not only in the morning, but in the forecast for this afternoon. And this being a Sunday in September, the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing. They have a game later today, not here in Pittsburgh, but just down the road in Cincinnati. They actually had some form of road race outside our hotel early this morning, and I saw guys running. I think it was a 10K, and they were running it with Pittsburgh Steelers jerseys on. Not just a couple of guys, a lot of people were.
Hey, it's Sunday in Pittsburgh during football season.
That's right where it was. It's amazing. Guys had the little small running shorts on, and they had these big, long, flowing Steelers jerseys on. Franco Harris's number, Troy Polamalu. I even saw Bubby Brister, number 6.
Tough break for Polamalu.
Yeah, 14 letters strong.
Well, there comes a time where you start putting on the uniform of the city that you live in, of the team that's winning.
Ground ball to short, throws out Kemp. A 1-2-3 inning for the Dodgers. Home half of the 8th is next. 2-2 tie in Pittsburgh. The Dodgers won, the Rockies lost. Everyone thought that the magic number had been cut down to 2. Joe Torre and his staff left the ballpark thinking that the magic number was 2. Overnight, Major League Baseball did the computations and decided, well, remember, because the Dodgers own the tiebreaker, with 7 games remaining and a 6-game lead over the Rockies, the magic number is now officially at 1. So that is why the magic number is at 1. Should the Dodgers win today's ball game, they will be the National League West champs for the 2nd consecutive year. Should the Dodgers lose and the Rockies lose later today, the Dodgers would be the NL West champions. Rockies are currently losing as they play the bottom of the 3rd at Coors. The St. Louis Cardinals have 3, the Rockies have 2, so a closely contested game there. But the Rockies are losing. Here we're tied at 2. New pitcher is George Sherrill.
I'm glad you explained that all for me.
Yeah, actually, it was an interesting conversation Joe Torre had with the media before the ball game. He had been familiar with magic numbers changing overnight from his time with the Yankees. It happened to him before with the Red Sox chasing and the clinch number. Orlando Hudson, what a play! Diving like a wide receiver, he makes the catch and robs Robinson Diaz of a hit.
We've seen Orlando Hudson make this play a lot, but I think this is the best one we've seen all year. We've seen him turn the other way. He was looking over his left shoulder here. We've seen him go the other way and have to backhand some plays, but I think that one might be the most spectacular one we've seen him make, going into the outfield.
And a big play made at a big time. Out number 1 here in the 8th inning. This is Steve Pearce. Pearce takes downstairs. We told you George Sherrill, pitching in last night's ball game, he got what's considered to be a classic vulture. That's when you come out of the bullpen, you don't necessarily have your great stuff, and you get credit for the win. It was his first Dodger win. Dodgers kind of had a sloppy ball game, but scored late and allowed George Sherrill to get the first National League win in his career. He had pitched, of course, before in Seattle and in Baltimore. So his first National League win. Congratulations to George Sherrill, even though it probably wasn't his best performance in Dodger blue. A little bit outside, 3-1.
Well, if you look at the way Sherrill has pitched all season long in that Dodger uniform once they acquired him, if you give up a hit, all of a sudden it's a bad appearance for him because it's been so good.
Three balls and 2 strikes.
Pearce does have home run power, and I got to think if you're Pearce right now, you're looking for something to juice.
Line drive snagged up the shoot tops by Hudson. We've seen him go back. Now we see him go to his left. 2 outs. George Sherrill, fortunately, he's got a Gold Glove second baseman working behind him today. Shortstop Luis Cruz will bat. 1 for 2 so far today for Cruz. In the Dodger ninth, scheduled to hit James Loney, Ronnie Belliard, and Russell Martin. Remember, Manny Ramirez is a potential pinch hitter for the Dodgers, but not in the starting lineup today.
Lurking. Talking with Manny before the ball game today. And I said, well, yeah, I got to come back downstairs for the celebration if you guys win it. He said, what celebration?
He thought the magic number was 2.
Yeah, maybe.
Ball and 2 strikes. Sherrill delivers. Outside edge called, strike 3. A 1-2-3-8. Sherrill does his job. Time for the bats to get cooking. To the 9th we go. A 2-2 tie in Pittsburgh.
Now the Dodgers a little sloppy on the base pass today. I didn't have a problem with Andre Ethier trying to move up on that play, but he got cut down, and right after that, Matt Kemp got picked off. That was the inning where the Dodgers started off with back-to-back base runners and ended up with just 3 hitters coming to the plate. And the next thing you know, there were 3 outs.
Dodgers scoring a run in the 3rd inning on an RBI single by Rafael Furcal. They scored another run in the 7th inning on a ground ball out off the bat of Jim Thome. 2-2 tie, new pitcher, the closer for the Pirates, Matt Capps, comes on.
Well, you've seen Joe Torre employ this strategy quite a bit. You bring your closer in, not a save situation, but in a tie game in the 9th. If he shuts them down and your guys are able to get the job done in the 9th inning, you get your closer a win.
James Loney, Ronnie Belliard, and Russell Martin scheduled to hit here in the 9th inning. Dodgers 2 runs on 6 hits. The Pirates 2 runs on 7 hits. Dodgers magic number down to 1. Loney hit a bullet his last time up. He was leading off the 7th. A line drive off that wall in right field. Hit it so hard, had to settle for a single. After the double by Belliard moving him to 3rd and an intentional walk, Jim Thome brought him home on an RBI ground ball. Lifted down the left field line. Millage on the run. Runs out of room.
That left field line down there reminds you a little bit of Fenway Park. It's very close. The stands jut out just about 6 or 7 feet from the foul line. It looks like it's padded nicely, but that's a dangerous run for a left fielder on a play just like we saw there. If Millage has a chance to catch the ball, you're running as fast as you can to get it, and you have no time to stop.
Loney back in the batter's box. No balls, 2 strikes. Another foul ball. With the Dodgers' magic number down to 1, should they win this game right here, we will keep it live in the ballpark for as long as it needs to be. We're going to cook it till it's done. We're going to have the post-game celebration in the clubhouse. Steve, you're going to be down there in your wetsuit. But, programming note for you, should the Dodgers lose this game, and they'll need the Rockies to lose to win it today, we will be back here. The moment the game ends in Denver, we will have the celebration. The Dodgers are going to stay and watch the end of that game in their clubhouse. And should the Rockies lose in their game against St. Louis, they're currently losing by a score of 3-2 in the 4th inning, we will have that celebration again live right here on Prime Ticket. And Steve, you'll just have to wait around a little longer, and once again, you'll be in that clubhouse.
Yeah, it should be a wet and wild time down there. Try to talk to many of the players as we can up and back. You and I will be ping-ponging back and forth. I'm sure you'll have some excellent information to give the Dodger fans up here while I am getting soaked down there.
On the ground, it's going to be trouble. Base hit for Loney. Great at bat. Saw a bunch of pitches. Finally found one. He could hit through that hole on the right side. And for the second time in 3 innings, Loney gets a leadoff single.
One of the good things about that at bat with Loney, as you mentioned, he saw a lot of pitches. He's making the closer throw a lot of pitches. You know, similar to Jonathan Broxton. Broxton wants to come in and get out of an inning in 10 to 15 pitches. Once you start making a closer have to throw 15, 20, 25 pitches, they're in trouble. Not used to throwing that many, don't want to throw that many.
After the leadoff single for Loney in the 7th, Belliard rifled a double down the right field line. Looking for more of the same here in the 9th. Takes a strike. Do you have Belliard swing away, or do you lay it on a bunt?
I think the way that Belliard's been swinging the bat, I think they're going to probably go ahead and let him swing. Although, after that first strike call, you might change your mind and say, hey, I'll give you one chance. After that, we need you to drop it down. Let's see what Joe wants to do.
He is swinging away, and he fouls it back, 0-2. So second consecutive Dodger batter falls behind Caps, 0-2. And there's Manny behind Joe Torre. Getting ready just in case.
Fairly commonly known that maybe the way to get Belliard out, not too many people have been successful, but late in the count, climb the ladder on him with fastballs. He'll chase a high fastball. He loves to swing at him. Sometimes he hammers him, but you can get him out up in the zone.
Dodgers have already clinched a postseason berth. Now trying to wrap up the NL West.
Belliard up there hanging tough. Belliard, another one of those guys, only about 5'6", 5'7". He does not get cheated. Reminds you a little bit of Dustin Pedroia. The way Pedroia swings the bat like he's a 4-year-old little leaguer trying to hit a home run every time.
Loney with a short lead at first. The 1-2. Hit hard. This is going to get down. Millage cuts it off. Loney is going to head to third, and he'll make it with a head-first dive. Millage slipped a little bit when he picked up the baseball, and just that hesitation allowed Loney to go from first to third. Nobody out here in the 9th.
Well, Ronnie Belliard there just absolutely rifling a ball to left field there again. He may have twisted an ankle or something. It looks like he wants to come out of the game because I really thought Belliard would have gone for second base when Millage did the same thing as he did earlier in the game. Comes up throwing that ball to third. The play should have gone to second, and I think Belliard might have hurt himself, or he's clearly in the dugout out of the ball game. I don't know what happened there. See if he twists something coming around. Yeah, maybe his right ankle there, a little twist. Maybe a groin. That prevented him from trying to go to second base to take advantage of another throwing mistake, as far as I'm concerned, in the outfield. As you mentioned, this is a Pirate team that has made very few errors, but we've seen a lot of mistakes made that don't count as errors. Throwing to the wrong base, not hitting a cutoff man. Hopefully the issue with Belliard is minor.
Stan Connie talking things over with Belliard. And Juan Castro stretching out over at first base. He will run for Ronnie. So runners on at the corners. Nobody out. A lot of options here for the Dodgers and Russell Martin. 2-2 tie. Trying to go ahead here in the ninth inning. And Russell rifles it into center field. Dodgers take the lead. Russell had a tough at bat his last time up with runners in scoring position. This time he wastes no time, gets a fastball, and hammers it to center field. Still nobody out in the ninth inning. The Dodgers lead 3-2. And in the bullpen, Jonathan Broxton getting loose. There's the big fella. Manny Ramirez in the on-deck circle. Orlando Hudson hitting runners at first and at second. He's thinking about a bunt. Lays it down third base side. LaRoche, the only play is at first. Second baseman Bixler covering. That's the first out of the ninth inning. So after 3 consecutive hits, Loney, Belliard, and Martin, a sacrifice, moves runners to second and third with 1 out. It leaves the base open, and you'd imagine that Matt Capps is going to think about walking Ramirez intentionally. Yeah, this is an easy call. Home plate umpire Brian O'Nor not quite yet. Not quite ready. Now he is. And now we'll see the intentional walk. So the bases will be loaded. Still just 1 out. John Russell's team still in a bit of a bind. Rafael Furcal, who's had a fantastic road trip, will bat from his preferred left side against the right-handed throwing Matt Capps. And the pitching coach, Joe Corrigan, streaking out to the center of the diamond and wants to talk to the entire infield and his battery. You imagine the Pirates want to keep their closer Matt Capps in the ballgame, but if things don't work out, they do have activity in the bullpen. The left-hander, Donnie Field, getting loose. Field got his first career win back on Friday. The series opener against the Dodgers, game won by the Pirates 3-1. All right, Brian O'Nora says let's break it up, let's play some baseball. And we'll have a bases loaded situation, just 1 out. Dodgers have already scored once here in the ninth. And for call, an opportunity for the kill shot. Already today, Raffy with 1 base hit to increase his hitting streak to 11 games. called strike. Corners on the infield look like they're going to play for the play at the plate. Looks like the middle infielders may be going for the double play. Second to first. Hard hit ball. Bixler, his only play is at the plate, and he's going to be safe. Safe at home is Castro as the ball gets away from Diaz. Dodgers lead by 2. Still just 1 out. Hard hit ball. Bixler may have been handcuffed. I think he panicked and thought he couldn't get the double play. 4-6-3. So he came home trying to get the lead runner, and nothing worked. Yeah, good throw, and Castro may still have been safe. Dodgers will take it. It's going to be ruled a fielder's choice. It's not an error on anyone. So we've been talking about how the Pirates lead all of baseball in fielding percentage, but they've made some fielding mistakes. They haven't been credited with many errors, but they haven't been flawless by any stretch of the imagination. The inning continues. Juan Pierre will stay in the game. He will hit. 1 for 4 so far today. Bases still loaded. Caught by the first baseman, Pierce. Can't hit it any harder. Good bit of base running by Furcal to get back to the bag at first. So the inning continues. 2 outs now. And Andre Ethier, Mr. Big Moment all season long, will get a chance to open this game up wide. Russell Martin, RBI base hit to score the first run here in this 9th inning. He's on at third. Manny Ramirez, intentionally walked, has checked in at second. And Rafael Furcal, who drove in a run with a fielder's choice, he's on at first. Ball pops out of the catcher's glove. Here comes Martin. He will score. This is not the best defensive team in the big leagues. Dodgers have a 3-run cushion. So Martin, who drove in the first run this inning, scores the third. And now this is almost an abundance of riches for the Dodgers. Jonathan Broxton still getting loose, and he's going to have at minimum a 3-run lead to work with. 1-2 to Ethier. Ruling on that last play was a passed ball on Diaz, allowing Martin to score. Dodgers leaving the ballpark yesterday. Joe Torre and his staff and everyone in the club thinking the magic number had been whittled down to 2 overnight. The authorities in Major League Baseball actually doing some numbers crunching and saying, you know, it's a 1 game magic number because the Dodgers own the tiebreaker over Colorado by virtue of taking the season series. So a Dodger win right now and the NL West title is wrapped up. Ethier seeing a lot of pitches, spoils another fastball. Looking to the bottom of the 9th inning. Joe Torre's team will have to get out the 8th, 9th, and leadoff hitters. for the Pirates. It'll be the second baseman, Bixler, a pinch hitter of some sort. And then the leadoff hitter, Andrew McCutcheon. Almost hit him. Should the Dodgers win this game, stay with us. We will stay live and on the air for as long as it needs to be. We're going to go in that locker room, talk to the guys in the clubhouse, see how the Dodgers celebrate an NL West title. Swing and a miss in the inning. At least the top half draws to a close. But big doings for the Dodgers. They scored 3 times. The Dodgers need 3 more outs to get, and they're NL West champions for the 2nd straight year. The Pittsburgh Pirates, should the Dodgers hold on, they will be NL West champs for the 2nd consecutive year. And the Dodgers sending the big fella to the mound, Jonathan Broxton, appearance number 71. He has 36 saves on the season. Broxton getting loose at the beginning of this inning, just hoping what might happen, and what he was hoping for did. A 3-run top of the 9th inning. Dodgers scoring on an RBI base hit by Russell Martin, an RBI ground out by Rafael Furcal, and then a passed ball allowing Russell Martin to score the final run of the frame. So 3-run score on 3 base hits. Passed ball factoring in as well. Defensively for the Dodgers, Ronnie Belliard, who was pinch run for by Juan Castro. Don't know exactly why. Castro stays in the game at 3rd base. That's the only change for the Dodgers. Former Dodger Delwyn Young will bat. He will pinch hit for the 2nd baseman Brian Bixler. First 2 pitches from Broxton missed the strike zone. Delwyn Young was in spring training this year with the Dodgers. The 2-0. There's a fastball strike, took something off it, and gets the desired result. Hard hit ball into right field. Leadoff single for Delwyn Young. So just like the Dodgers, the Pirates start the 9th inning with a solid single to right field. James Loney takes a step in towards the mound and tells Broxton that he will not be holding Delwyn Young on. Pinch hitter Brandon Moss. There's a good strike. Oh, 2. The Dodgers had been the pride of the National League West since the first week of the season. They had a great start out of the gate. By the second week of the season, they were working on a 7-game winning streak. Of course, they had great success at home, winning their first 13 games at Dodger Stadium. By May 21st, the Dodgers had run out to a 9-game lead in the NL West. 0-2. That 9-game lead, the high water mark for the Dodgers. They reached it not only in May, but in June and July as well. The Rockies put up a fight. Cut the lead down to 2. August 25th. A little flipper for Call, can't make the play. Back-to-back singles to begin the bottom of the 9th inning for the Pirates. Now these 3 outs are not going to be an easy time for Jonathan Broxton. Young on at second, Moss on at first. And McCutchen, who's had a good day, steps in. His last time up, hit the ball about as hard as you can into the gap in right center field and leaked out a triple. On the ground for Call, has it go off his chest, they still get an out. Dodgers get the first out of the bottom of the 9th inning on the fielder's choice at second. Moss off the base paths. I don't think they would have been able to turn 2 anyway. McCutchen has close to world-class speed. He ran a 10.500 meters back in his high school days. He's now on at first. On at third is Young. But the important thing, 1 out now in the 9th inning. Former Dodger Andy LaRoche grabs a bat. 1 for 4 so far today. LaRoche part of that trade that sent Manny Ramirez to the Dodgers. The 3-way trade that was made at the end of July last season. Pops him up, out of play. 0-2 pitch. On the ground for call to second. And everyone's going to be safe. Young scores. McCutcheon goes to third. LaRoche goes to second. A good throw would have gotten McCutcheon at second. But everyone's going to be safe. The lead is trimmed to 2. And now 2 runners in scoring position. Tough chance for a call deep in the hole. May have had the ball stick in his glove. And a throw gets past Orlando Hudson. And allows McCutcheon to check in at third. And LaRoche to steam into second. Now, just like this season, which started out with such a great start. And then was challenged by the Rockies in the August. This 9th inning, the same way. The Dodgers getting a 3-run lead in the top of the 9th. Such a great start heading into this bottom of the 9th inning. Now being challenged, but still with an opportunity if Broxton can close it out. And to that end, Joe Torre just wants to make sure that everyone is calm and relaxed and understands that this is doable. There's no one loose in the bullpen for the Dodgers. This is strictly Joe Torre moment. Make sure that everyone is calm as he is. So after the error by Furcal, runners on at second and third, 2-run game. And with the left-handed swinging Garrett Jones up, there's going to be an intentional walk. This is the 3rd consecutive at-bat that Garrett Jones has been intentionally walked. Struck out on 3 pitches, each of his first 2 times up against Clayton Kershaw. And now he's going to see 12 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone. What a strange day for Garrett Jones. So Jones has stepped to the plate 5 times, not put the ball in play once. And is going to be on base 3 times. Walk is issued. There'll be a force at every base. And you just have to wonder what's going through the mind of not only Joe Torre, who has been through everything you can imagine in baseball, but for the man coming to the batter's box right now. Lastings Millage, his last 3 times up now, has stepped to the plate after the guy in front of him has been intentionally walked to get to him. It's got to hurt your ego. So far, he hasn't made the Dodgers pay. 0 for 4 from Millage. Bases full of Pirates. 2-run lead for the Dodgers. Jonathan Broxton, a big reason why the Dodgers are in this position right now. He has been as close to as good as you can get in the National League all season long. 36 saves. His 2-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Little flare, it's going to get down. This will score 2, maybe 3. It gets away from Ethier. Here comes Jones. He'll score. Pirates win. The Dodgers had a 3-run lead heading to the bottom of the 9th inning. Their all-star closer, Jonathan Broxton, taking to the mound. And the Pirates, the lowly Pirates, 17 consecutive losing seasons, 96 losses on the year. They rally for 4 runs. And the Dodgers unable to clinch the National League West on their own so far this Sunday afternoon. Now they'll have to wait in the clubhouse and see what happens in Denver. The Dodgers can still clinch the division today, but they're going to need some help. They're going to go to the clubhouse and see what happens between St. Louis and the Rockies. We'll be back to tell you what the scenarios are in a moment. Don't go anywhere.